Hi guys, welcome to our channel, the BaeSlay Way. And we are back with our placement interview experience segment for you. Today's company is Cimpress, and we'll be discussing their eligibility criteria, the recruitment process, and everything in details. So before we move on to that, if you're new here, please do subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get all the notifications instantly. And if you also want to get featured on our placement interview experience segment, then feel free to fill up the Google form attached in the description box below and we'll reach out to you. And there's also a Telegram channel link in the box. And if you want to stay updated to our channel updates, please join that group as well. Now we'll move on to the recruitment process.
Talking about the recruitment process, the profile offered by Cimpress is software engineering. The CTC that they are offering is mentioned as below. Eligibility criteria is you should be having 7.0 CGPA and above in engineering, and there should be no live backlog. And branches eligible are CS and IT. Now coming to the online test, the platform was HackerEarth. There were 3 coding questions for 1 hour. And moving on to the interview process, there were 2 technical interviews. There was no HR interview, and both the technical interviews were of 50 minutes. Now let's talk about the process in detail with our guest today.
So hi guys, today we have with us Naitik, who has cracked the on-campus recruitment process for Cimpress for the job role of a software engineer. Welcome to our channel, Naitik, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So before we move on, I would request you for a quick introduction first.
Sure. So myself, Naitik Parmar. I am a final year graduate student in computer science, and I recently I'm going to recently join Cimpress India as a software developer.
So let's move to the interview segment then. So we will first go with the aptitude test and then towards the interview. So can you take us through the aptitude test?
Okay. So the aptitude test consisted of 3 coding questions. It was a 1-hour test taken on HackerEarth. So there were different markings for each question. First one was of 20 marks, then next one was 50 mark, and the last one was 100 mark. And they were easy to moderate level. So the 20 mark question was easy, then moderate, and then hard. And most people who cracked the 150 mark question, those were selected in the next round. Yeah, that's it. And then shall I proceed to the interview?
Before that, do you remember any of the questions, like what were the topics, arrays, vectors, or something?
I don't exactly remember the questions, but they were mostly related to arrays. There were no advanced data structure asked in the coding questions. They were just based on arrays, and all languages were open.
Okay. So now you can move to the interview segment.
Okay. So after the test, there were 2 rounds in the interview. So the round 1 was a technical interview. It was a 50-minute meeting, and it consisted of two of the members of Cimpress, and there were no questions from my resume in that interview. There were only questions about the basic computer science subjects like object-oriented programming, data structures, and these subjects. So there were basic questions. Also, there were some questions about the database management. And after that, they asked me to do live hands-on coding by sharing my screen. So there were 2 questions asked in the live coding session, one of which was from the data structure linked list, and the other question was a basic array question. And then there were also some SQL queries asked, some basic SQL queries, and then they wrapped up the interview like that.
So in the first round, were you told to write anything on their chat or a particular windows, like you said about SQL or the coding part?
Yes, so I was asked to do my screen share, and they gave me a link of CodeShare. So CodeShare is a platform where you can generate a link, and the people who are connected through the link, they can see what you are coding. So there was a sort of like a live coding session. So they sent me the code share link in the chat, and I opened that link, and I was also asked to share my screen at the same time. I was asked to write the algorithm only, so there was no compiler in code share. It was just writing the algorithm and logic. That was enough. They didn't wanted me to actually run the code. So the round 2 was also a technical round, and it lasted for around, the meeting was scheduled for 50 minutes, but for me it lasted for around 20 to 25 minutes. And in this round, most questions were asked from my resume. So all the projects that I had put up in my resume, they asked several questions on it. And there were also some basic questions on the languages, those were mentioned in my skills. For example, JavaScript. So some questions on JavaScript, basic API manipulations, and database API testing. All these questions were asked. And in the end, there were some more data structure questions asked, like questions on binary tree and linked list. So this round was more of the resume side of the interview. So most of the questions were from my resume, and at the last, the interviewer asked me if I wanted to ask something about the company, and yes, that was it. That was the end of the round.
So both of the rounds were only technical side, and there was nothing about HR, right?
Right, exactly. So even I was expecting that the second round would be an HR plus technical round, but they did not ask any HR related questions. The whole round, both the rounds were purely technical. But the second round was more of the resume side, and the first round was more of on the subjects and concepts of computer science.
So one should be clear with all the basic subjects rather than other things.
Yeah, very strong technical background.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Can you also summarize the timelines for us? Like what were the if there was any gap given between subsequent rounds, and when was the final result given out?
Sure. So basically, after the aptitude test, they took around 2 days to shortlist the students on the basis of aptitude test. And after the test, on the same day, both the interviews happened. So the first interview happened at around 12, I think, and the next interview happened at around 3. So both the interviews for all the candidates, both the interviews happened on the same day, and the results were declared on the same day. So in the evening, at around 5:30 to 6, the results were declared. So in total there was around 2 days of the interview. So after the aptitude, things went very fast. Only 2 days gap was there, and then the whole interview was wrapped up.
That's nice.
And since only you are the person to crack this complete interview out of 12 or 15 people, so any tips for our juniors before applying in Cimpress?
Yes, so I would like to tell my juniors that you have to be very thorough about your resume first of all. So my tip would be honest. Don't write things that you are not confident about, because they're going to ask a lot of questions from your resume, and they're going to test the skills that you have mentioned. So don't lie, don't do that. Just be honest in your interview, and always be confident in the interview. Don't seem too nervous, or even if you don't know the answer, just say it. Just don't say anything, because whatever answer you're going to give, they're going to ask some counter questions on it. That's how interview goes. So just be prepared with whatever you've learned, and answer them correctly. Also, I would like to say that other than the competitive coding part, which you should surely do, you should also focus on your resume. So whatever things that you like in your field, for example, if you are a data science person or you are a web development guy, so whatever field you are interested in, just do random projects, try to find things, and try to do some freelancing projects or some other projects, just to give a shine to your resume. In that way, you'll gain a lot of experience, and it will really help you a lot in your resume. So even if your academics part is not that well, still you can crack some very big companies by doing some good industry work or by doing some very good personal projects. So that is a very good way of learning. So I think our juniors should definitely uh, uh, indulge in such projects and freelancing works. And at last, I would like to say that just be patient. So like this whole interview process, it just makes you think that, oh, whether the studies that I've done in 4 years, is it worth it or not? I'm not getting placed. All my friends are getting placed. Why am I not? So these kind of queries come to everybody's mind. So I would just like to say that please calm down and don't be impatient. Just keep your patience and just keep applying to companies that you like, keep applying for roles that you like, and surely the day will come when you'll get selected. So it's not a race that you have to finish first. It's just time. Like sometime it takes time, but surely you will get to the place where you are supposed to be. So just don't be so much impatient. Just keep faith, be patient, and just study whatever you have done in your 4 years.
Thank you for the wonderful tips. And thanks for coming in and sharing your experience as well. And with that, guys, it's a wrap for today. So Naitik's LinkedIn will be in the description box below. Feel free to reach out to him in case you have any further queries or you want any sort of guidance from him. And we'll be back next week with another placement interview experience segment for you on Fridays. Till then, take care and prepare well. Thank you.